Amal Al-Breiki. Amal Al-Breiki is a researcher and the deputy head of Trends Council for Young Researchers at Trends Research and Advisory. She is currently pursuing her master's in applied sociological research at Paris Sorbonne, Abu Dhabi. Please welcome Amal. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're hearing me well. Is it good? It fills me with great pride to be sharing the panel with a group of distinguished women leaders in the think tank community, especially Dr. Tissam, since we're coming from the both similar country. I would also like to thank Darasat and TTCSP and extend my condolences to Dr. Jim's family and loved ones. Without the support and faith of my institution, Trends Research and Advisory, and Dr. McGann's ever encouraging words, I wouldn't have been here today in this very panel. So being someone who has recently joined the think tank world, as a young researcher and as a woman, I have few remarks about the current status quo of women researchers and overall the presence of women in the think tank community, so bear with me. I do have to acknowledge that I'm also very incredibly privileged to be given this platform in the presence of a diverse group of people, and I hope that founders, CEOs, directors, and anyone that works at a think tank will be stirred enough to advance the standing of women in their respective institutions. And my co-panelists have thoroughly discussed their experiences, their visions, their challenges as well that they faced, or women face in the think tank community. And I'll probably be echoing everything that they've said. But I feel compelled to share mine because they and every female researcher that preceded me has paved the way for me and for young women like me in their own communities. So when Trends was first established in 2014, the think tank community in the UAE was gradually growing. And along with it was the UAE's leadership commitment to women empowerment. So by the time I joined, women made up 30% of UAE's cabinet, which relatively speaking is not that high, but it remains to be a remarkable step in the right direction. And although Emirati female researchers excelled in STEM fields, with most recently women making up 80% of the science team behind the Mars mission. But the progress wasn't reflected in the think tank industry in the UAE, with a soaring gap and absence of Emirati female researchers. And especially at a time when the UAE's leadership has created an enabling environment that allowed for this sort of inclusivity to take place. And frankly speaking, if we want more women more women leading think tanks, shouldn't we first address why aren't there Emirati female researchers? Why aren't they joining in the first place? And I did a little pilot study or investigation to understand this further, and I had a few private conversations with recent graduates and young professionals interested in research and in becoming a part of a think tank. And the reasons were multifaceted. That included social and cultural constraints, and within the Emirati context, and lack of adequate knowledge and guidance, and misconception about the industry itself, in terms of its work nature, what kind of impact it has on the country, and targeted audience, and also some of them just didn't find it appealing enough. So within my limited capacity as the deputy head of Trends Council for Young Researchers, my team and I, which I can proudly say is dominated by brilliant young Emirati females, found that we might be able to bridge this gap through awareness. So one of our council's main objectives is to introduce the nature of research, of research-oriented careers, and the importance of research, and the importance of working at a think tank, and what is it like to work at a think tank to university students and to young professionals who have showcased some interest. We've also established a program called the Young Researchers Program that provides a platform for graduate, undergraduate, and postgraduate students to participate in the dialogue and to publish their papers and strategic insights at our website. And our first two papers were actually written and published by undergraduate Emirati women. So even if we cannot address or challenge the social and cultural constraints, but we can certainly enlighten those who are interested, especially women or Emirati women, by introducing more mentorship programs, by introducing training and career development opportunities, but also networking. And very early on in their careers to help them advance it further once they start. And hopefully that one day they will end up leading a think tank themselves. And I urge think tankers in the UAE and the Gulf as well to address this issue further and to back it with tangible data and information and statistics to fully grasp the scope of the issue. Now, at a larger sense, looking at the room right now as a young female researcher and a member of this community, the think tank community, I can't help but be a bit disappointed that there can be more of us, that there can be more women researchers, there can be more women founders, directors, CEOs. And I'm sure that they exist outside of this room, but I'm also sure that they're not enough. So this tells me that there's still more to be done. And I think at this point, we have exhausted every possible cause of why, of the current status quo of women. So we must go beyond the systematic macro factors that hinder placing women in power and leadership positions. And I'm not saying that they don't carry some of the responsibility and the blame, as stereotypes and gendered social norms, discrimination and biases remain to be very prevalent. But this is when we need to start looking within. We need to start looking at ourselves and our institutions. So what are we as individuals actively working at think tanks are doing to ensure that our institutions, publications and panels are inclusive and representative of women? And are we aware of the number of women in our institutions? Are we aware of the number of publications by women published by our institutions? And are we aware of our spaces of dialogue are available for women and inclusive of women? Are we holding ourselves accountable, and are we holding our colleagues and our partners accountable? Are we keeping our own internalized and our own unconscious bias in check? So this is where awareness of our surroundings and ourselves becomes extremely pivotal, and I firmly believe that each one of us should carry a share of that sense of responsibility and accountability. And collaboration, partnerships, cooperations are terms that have been overused for the past 2 years and for yesterday as well, but rightfully so. And that is due to their urgency in the industry, alongside a culture of responsibility and accountability. And this has been stressed earlier this year at the Global Summit of the role of women in think tank, that only together will we successfully achieve an industry inclusive and supportive of women. And I'd like to end with a 2019 Harvard Business Review study examined how different types of networks helped new male and female MBA graduates secure executive leadership positions. And to achieve the executive positions with the highest authority and pay, women needed a circle of close female contacts. And so this brings me to that we need more of those. We need more networking. We need more connection building opportunities. We need peer-to-peer women support initiatives that can serve as a reminder that we're better as collaborators rather than competitors. And overall, I will leave each one of you with these questions to reflect on. Are you doing enough? And are we as a think tank community doing enough? Thank you, everyone.